Yeah. So community building is another thing that's like at my core, and I was actually a contractor at Google, so they wanted to, it was like a little experiment project of building a product agnostic community for small businesses.
Okay.
So like mom and pop shop owners, not like online entrepreneurs like we are, we can be, and like when we think small business, we think of like the online businesses.
Yeah.
But
the bakery on Main Street.
Yeah, exactly.
The accountant.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean it can be an online business, but it's focusing more on the struggles of like creating, like having products and having like physical traffic that you need to bring to your, and being able to, going from being a mom and pop shop owner and getting online. So what I focused on being the content creator, we were all community managers and we all brought the community together, but I focused on not being tone deaf and creating content that actually brought that community, and it wasn't just an audience, it was everyone coming into the community, helping each other, because I think the best community is a self-sustaining one. Like, it's not being pushed by the moderators, it's not being pushed by us.
The interconnectivity of
It's the
members
interconnectivity, and that's what makes it a community.
Right.
Because you want people to be passionately talking about your product, your community. That's why I love Content Marketing Institute, Content Marketing World, because we're a community here.
Yeah.
And it's not just talking about sales, and it's not just support, support questions. So I think that's what makes the distinction.
Yeah, I think top businesses today are moving away from, like, there's traffic, audience, and community. Traffic is, as the name implies, people come and go. You know, it's a rush to and from. There's BuzzFeed generates traffic with their list articles as the originator of that idea. Audience is, I'm on a stage, I'm in front of you, and there's a group of you, and it's A to B. I'm presenting something perhaps from on high. I have an audience, I have a platform, which can be important for a brand. But community. Community is, to your point, the interconnectivity. It can be self-sustaining. It can be, to what we talked about with Jay Bear early on in this show, it can be the source of talk triggers, things that get people to actually go out and talk about you to other people. And to me, I think the movement from traffic to audience to community speaks to the maturity or evolution of content marketing today.
I totally agree. And I think that, especially here, in the conversations we've been having, the focus has been more on community, but people are still kind of struggling with that. And they say community, but they mean traffic.
Yeah,
they mean audience.
Subscriber list.
Yeah, exactly. So you want the community of people, like you want people to feel warm to you. You want people to feel the same passion about your product, your book, whatever it is that you're selling. That way, that's the same passion that you do, and that's when it becomes a community.
So I'm selling my first book, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, how does one sell a book? And you need a big audience, you need to go out to the right podcasts and lists, and that's important. But what I realize is, because I have an actual community through the work that I do, through my podcast and newsletter, I'm able to go to what feels like friends and be like, hey, you know me, we know each other, we interact, I made something for you. And it's such an easier sale that it doesn't even feel like a sale. It just feels like I'm trying to add more value, and isn't that the hallmark of all this stuff? I want to move now at the close of our interview to this idea of lean content marketing that you're presenting on. We've all heard the phrase lean. I think we can abuse it a little bit, or at least misunderstand it. Clear the air for us. What do we mean when we say lean content marketing?
So what I'm focusing on with lean content marketing is, because I work with small businesses and startups, when it comes to it doesn't matter if you have a big budget, to the point, your point of earlier, like putting new paint on the drone and putting more money behind an idea that's not working. Lean content marketing, in my mind, and what I'm going to be talking about Friday morning, hopefully everyone will come.
Friday at 9 a.m.
I know, like everyone will be on. But it's about focusing on the important things and building the strategy and amplifying everything that makes your business unique by basically aligning your content marketing business goals.
Right.
And
it's a process.
It's a process, but a lot of people want all the big numbers. I've had clients that were like, they were having a beta launch of a small platform and they wanted to have Apple-like numbers. And I was like, that's not how it works. And you can't just throw money behind something that you're not introducing people to in the right way.
I always liken lean to people that have no idea. I came from the tech startup world, you know, and so lean is very common there, the lean startup. Think of it as progress in reality is not a straight line, it's a zigzagging curve, and lean is a way to make sure you're orienting that curve in the right direction you want to go, because you're taking each little step by being more and more informed by your business goals, by your team's talents and unique skills, and of course, by the audience you aim to serve. I know one of the things you're talking about is when you don't have a giant research budget, informing your work still by doing some form of research and analysis of your audience. How can I do that?
Yeah, so It's easy. One, the first thing that people don't do is have the right team in place.
Interesting.
So a lot of people, I've had clients that came to me and was like, give us a content strategy. They didn't have a huge budget. They didn't have anyone in charge to execute it once I gave it to them. And I'm like, you can't have that. So have the right team in place and have them ask them the right questions. And when you don't have a research budget, talk to your audience, talk to the people that you're selling to and ask them questions. That's one of the simplest things.
It's
is
so
that
simple. It's
nobody
so
does
simple.
it. And it's like, no, go to your audience and ask them questions and go to where they're talking about the topics that...
Events.
Yeah, events
Very easy.
online. Go to like online forums, go to Twitter, like wherever they're talking, be there.
One of my favorite blogs in the world is the First Round Review. It's for tech entrepreneurs, giant publication run by First Round Capital.
Yeah.
They started by going to events and transcribing the most popular speeches and putting them on the blogs. Why? Because their audience was in the room, clapping and applauding and lining up after.
Yeah.
That is a form of research. We
Yeah.
don't need the big formalized process all the time, especially if we're trying to operate in a lean fashion. We don't have the budget. We are at time, so I want to thank you for coming on the program. You can check out her work. Friday at 9 a.m. is her speech at Berrak Biz on Twitter.
Yes.
And for Berrak, I am Jay, and my guest coming up is a very, very special guest, Andrew Davis. He just gave the opening keynote at Content Marketing World.
So
What'd you
great.
think?
It was so great.
Unbelievable, right?
I felt attacked, but it was in a good way. I felt seen.
Yeah, he pushes you forward,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he's going to push us next. That'll be our different person up next here on CM World Chatter.